the birth of Saudi Arabia, a system, a government which was set up by the British. The British, who are the greatest enemies of Islam and the Muslims, they are the ones who set up Saudi Arabia. They are the ones who formulated the government of Saudi Arabia. They are behind the kingship of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a puppet government governed by the British.
The modern-day Kingdom of Saudi Arabia came into existence as a result of a rebellion against the Islamic Khilafah state. Britain sought to strike the Islamic State from within by Muhammad ibn Saud and later by his son Abdulaziz. Britain supplied them with weapons and money, and they moved on a sectarian basis to seize the Islamic lands, which were under the authority of the Khilafah. They took up arms against the Khalifa and fought the Islamic armed forces, all the time goaded by the British. It was well known that Al Saud were British agents. The huge arsenals and equipments which reached them via India and the monies to cover the war effort against the Khilafah were supplied by the British. Al Saud's family reward for playing the most important role in this rebellion was to be granted by the British the position of future rulers of Hijaz. They had so much trust and confidence in their British masters and were so arrogant of their possession that they called it Saudi on September the 23rd, 1933, the only state in the world to be named after a family. After destroying the Khilafah in 1924, these principles were swept aside, and the Western powers carved the Muslim Ummah into nation-states, installing puppet regimes in order to ensure the suffocation of the people, both intellectually and politically. Saudi Arabia is one of these imperialist creations, a near-perfect illustration of the nature of the regimes in the Muslim world, and the servant-master relationship they have developed with the Western powers. Contrary to popular Western myth, it is the Saudis that are dependent on the US, and not the other way round. The relationship is one in which the Saudi regime has no leverage over the US, while the US exerts almost total control over the regime, with the power to remove the regime overtly or covertly.
So the Khawarij with their Aqidah will remain among the Ummah of Muhammad ﷺ until the Dajjal emerges. They will leave alone the kuffar, the pagans, and they will massacre the believers.
ألا يرون أن حكام السعودية قد تولوا الكفار وأتوا بقواعدهم العسكرية إلى بلادهم وحكموهم برقابنا وأعطوهم يعني 3/4 النفط وعاونوهم على احتلال أفغانستان وعاونوهم على احتلال العراق والحصار العراق وعلى قتل 1 أو 2 مليون من أهل العراق؟ أليس هذا ولاء؟ وكيف يكون هؤلاء يعني مستثنين من وجوب الخروج عليهم وتغييرهم؟
عشرين سنة وانت تذكر أمريكا تحارب أفغانستان صاروا ضد المجاهدين، احتلت العراق وسفكت الدماء وهدمت المساجد صاروا ضد المجاهدين، وما أجازوا للناس الجهاد ضد المحتل في الشيشان، في كشمير، في أفغانستان، في العراق، حتى في فلسطين. والله يا شيخ أنا قرأت لبعضهم وسمعت بأذني لبعضهم يتشمت في أهل غزة وهم يقصفون، الشيخ أبو ريان اللي قتل له 4 نساء في بيته وهو عالم يدرس الناس صحيح مسلم كل يوم، هذا الرجل لما قتل يتشمتون فيه. تعرف ليش؟ لأنهم إخوان مسلمين. طيب مو بشر، مو مسلمين في النهاية. طيب كل هذا الجهاد ألغيته لما صارت قضية دماج. انتبه، كلهم صرخوا أين الجهاد؟ ليش المسلمين ما ينصرونهم؟ يجب الآن نصرة المسلمين ووجب الجهاد إيش معنى دماج؟ مع أن احنا وياكم دماج يجب نصرته بالجهاد.
نعم.
بس إيش معنى دماج؟ اللي ما يدري من المشاهدين راح أقول له إيش معنى دماج؟ أوجبوا الجهاد ولاموا الناس اللي ما قاتلوا معهم، وكل الأرض اللي تقاتل من قبل يهود ونصارى ما أمنتم بالجهاد ضدهم، لأن هؤلاء قريبين بالفكر معهم. وما أضحكني لكبيرهم لما تكلم بمقطع قال أنا أدعو أهل دماج بالقتال في سبيل الله بشرط أن يكون تحت ولاية علي عبد الله صالح. أنا مسكت نفسي من الضحك، يعني تضحكون على من؟ عشان ما يناقضون مبادئهم.
نعم، عشان ما يصير في
وقعوا بتناقض
دعوة جهاد بدون ولي أمر. يعني
يا شيخ هذا مذهب هم يا شيخ يناقضون أنفسهم. طيب خل زين العابدين يا شيخ القذافي اللي حكم العلماء بكفره، نفى الإجماع أنكره، نفى السنة وأنكرها، حرف القرآن، حارب المسلمين وأفسد في الأرض وقتل وأفسد كل هذا لآخر الأيام يا شيخ يعتبرونه ولي أمر شرعي.
يعني هو
هذا الإرجاء اللي فيهم.
Subhanallah. When you go to Mecca, like Umrah, you know, unfortunately, because of the doctrine in the kingdom, you're not allowed to really get any of the historical feel of what happened in the seerah. But if you're lucky, sometimes you go to Umrah, you'll find some of the older people in the city or some of the mashaykh who know where like historical things happen, where verses of Quran were sent. Now the house of Khadija became some restrooms, a'udhu billah. You know, stuff like this is happening. Even the names of streets have been changed on purpose to keep people from knowing the history in Medina, which is very unfortunate because they're scared people are going to make shirk with the streets. I never heard of anyone making shirk with the street. A'udhu billah min at-tashaddud wal-ifrat. Unfortunately in Saudi Arabia, and we should not be quiet about this, the destruction of historical places. You know, where the castle of the Jewish community is left alone in Saudi Arabia, it's preserved by Aramco, but the athar and nabawiyya are destroyed in the name of shirk. Inshallah, you won't make shirk with the street, inshallah. And also, this is su'u dhan bil muslimin. To have this bad suspicion against the Muslims is haram. To assume that if we allow anything to happen, the Muslims are corrupted and evil, this is from the signs of nifaq, from the signs of hypocrisy.
So we say to the Saudi Salvers, you and your Kafir masters, you are the real Khawarij because you give your bay'ah to George Bush in massacring Muslims to conquer Iraq, the land of Abraham. So you have reinterpreted Islam to give power to the Dajjal to kill Muslims. You have given your wala, your allegiance to the army of the Dajjal to conquer Iraq and to conquer Afghanistan and to massacre thousands of Muslims.
I was so grieved, really. I was almost in tears when I saw McDonald's in Mecca. I mean, it just broke my heart to see McDonald's in Mecca. And I'm in this sacred place that you can't even uproot a tree. You know, and these kuffar just running around with impunity. And the person I told this to, he felt like weeping. And he said, we just have to remember, Hamza, that Allah is over them. Allah is over these people. Allah is over them. And Allah will take them to account. But we need to raise this ummah up. And if we don't do it, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. If you don't do it, Allah will replace you with people who do it.